One of the things about this platform that we aspire to is to have conversations about things like Doge that are not just Doge is horrible or Doge is great. Because I think it's pretty clear that most Americans have a different view of Doge, which is some aspects of Doge are great and some are either horrible or questionable. So let's try to have that conversation now. Alex, what about Doge is currently worrying you? Stipulating that you're delighted with growth and I mean with cuts and with waste, fraud, and abuse being eliminated. And when I say what troubles you, I don't want you to answer from a political point of view. Where are the risks for the Republican Party? What troubles you for the country in terms of Doge right now, or worries you?
I will offer a different point of view than perhaps is expected. I am not bothered by the lack of transparency. I think they are moving so fast. Frankly, I'm surprised they're as transparent as they are. Uh, if anything, I worry they will not be able to keep up this speed. And there is no alternative. The alternative to doing things this fast is failure. It's to get mired back in the swamp, in the quicksand, and not succeeding. And Doge ultimately will not be judged if, a cruel way to say it, if they break some eggs, if they cause trauma, if they hurt people. Ultimately, Doge and Trump will be judged only if they are successful. If they, right now, the US government is this country is trying to pedal a bicycle into the future, dragging a boat, and the boat's going the other way. And we have this weight. And if we can unshackle ourselves from that and open up this economy, imagine that money not being taken out of the productive economy to fund unnecessary government expenditures. Imagine that it's there for people to innovate and create with at a time in history where we are doing transformational technological things and moving into a new era. Holy smokes. What a time to water the garden and see what grows here. If Trump is, I think Trump and Doge are being judged many times as if we were still living in the old world of well, neither side, Republican or Democrat, is effective at anything, at least in a positive way. And so we look at the political consequence and judge things on that. No, you don't have the dominant media anymore to destroy an administration, rightly or wrongly. You have a fragmented world. You don't have swing voters being the determinative voters. You have a political realignment now where black voters, young voters, even women, Hispanics are moving in a different direction. And you're talking to them through social media, the channels that will protect this movement. So my concern is that it's like the war in Israel. And if you don't do it quickly, you can't do it at all. We have no patience for this as a country. And my fear is that Democrats will be effective at really stopping a transformational movement to modernize our government. If we invented government today, would it look anything like what we have now? And the answer is no. Let's take a shot at that. That's what I think Trump is trying to do.
Congressman, what do you like about Doge?
Well, if I was still in Congress, I'd probably be on the Doge caucus. The idea of having a more efficient government, we should all be behind. Democrats have been scared to do anything to touch any part of government, and that was a terrible mistake. We all know there's waste, fraud, and abuse in the federal government. Now, the way it's that Elon Musk and Doge are going about it, it's really hard to tell that if they are really modernizing, doing anything to modernize, or they're just going at it with a hammer. Instead of going at it with a scalpel and taking out what is bad, what's not needed, and modernizing. As Alex said, that modernization needs to happen. But like many things, unfortunately, that I see with President Trump is, he's pointed to a lot of problems, and I've always been very I've said Donald Trump finally brought to the table a lot of problems that Americans are concerned about, and they want to see something done. The problem is, what are really the solutions? And the solutions are difficult. The solutions are not just cutting government workers and that's it, indiscriminately cutting them. Maybe Musk is doing something better than that. It's hard to tell, but there is a big risk here. When you cut employees from the FAA, when you cut people who are in charge of tracking diseases in the country, you cut people in charge of nuclear safety. If something happens, if some kind of disaster happens, whether it's deserved, whether it's really connected to those cuts or not, it could be used. Those cuts could be used to say, look, Trump administration, Donald Trump is responsible for this. And that's a danger, and that makes it more dangerous if you're not going about this. We'll talk about those nuclear safety employees working on nuclear safety. They're trying to get them back because they need them. And this is in Silicon Valley. The government's not a startup. You can't just break it and then start something new. There's a lot of things that need to get done. And I don't want to defend government. I don't want to say government is efficient. We can't cut anywhere. And so that's why I say it's a great idea. Like many of Trump's ideas are great ideas. It just has to be done well and properly.